corrections here. Okay. Now the minutes. Okay. Everybody's had a chance to read the minutes. Are there any corrections? Lisa, you mentioned something you wanted to, Lisa.
Yes, I was reading the public comment section and I noticed that it says April something, but I think it's supposed to be April Ryan. Ryan.
Okay.
Can you
All
see
right.
that?
Okay. Any other corrections?
Alex, do you have that email in a bigger screen than my phone?
The one from Linda?
The one from Linda?
What email from Linda? Oh.
There was an email distributed late this afternoon from Linda with a few corrections. I don't have that handy.
It didn't go to general distribution. It just landed at Dawn and somehow ended up in my inbox too, because I guess she didn't get the memo that I'm a nobody.
I do have it. So there were some minor corrections from Linda as well. I need a minute to find it if you want me to read it aloud.
Okay.
Well, I've got it right here in front of me.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. Bear with an old man in bifocals. In the public comment section, I believe Judy Willett said Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park's original concept was to be for all users with a balance of recreation usage and conservation. Also expressed the need for more restoration work for natural habitats. Linda shared overview and history of long-term volunteer involvement at the Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park from before the park was a park. Volunteers were a diverse group of users working together. We never would have saved this park without working cooperatively. And in response to a letter, Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park stewards are not all mountain bikers. In fact, 3 of the 5 co-leaders are not mountain bikers at all. Many mountain bikers have led volunteer conservation activities and have focused on projects that are not for mountain bikes. And from the district reps, I was asked about status of permit for a bridge crossing. Was that permit applied for? And then there's concerns about Stottlemyre parking at Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park. Since parking lot is gravel and pull-through equestrian stalls aren't marked, there's confusion of where people should work. Suggested additional signage and stall delineations for equestrian parking and better signage and trail connections to overflow parking for the street. That's all.
Any other corrections? All right. So I have a question. We have to vote on the corrections, is that correct? Or just approval of the minutes?
Someone can actually move to accept the minutes as corrected.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
And so I will move. We accept the minutes as corrected.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor from Larry to accept the minutes as corrected. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Jessica Rice, a second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I was a little confused about how that letter from Linda started with the Judy Willott comment and then it turned into this whole thing. I'm not sure because Judy Willett didn't talk about all that stuff. Was that more Linda's like input to the comments or a comment on her comment or?
What Judy had her comments, and then after that, when we went into the overview of history and everything, that was other bullet points. Those were a whole bunch of bullet points I did. Sorry, I didn't make it very clear.
No. So whose comments were those then?
It says
Linda Barry Murray.
Yeah.
So those are her comments. They weren't Judy Willott's comments.
No. Judy Willott made. She believes that Judy Willott made a comment. That the original concept was to be for all users with a balance of recreation usage and conservation.
Correct.
Also expressed the need for more restoration work for natural habitats. That was
Correct.
what she believed for Judy. Everything after that was Linda's observations.
Okay, so what was corrected then?
In the minutes, 2 bullet points under Judy, it lists Linda's comments, and so I believe she's adding clarification on that bullet point that shows up in public comment. 2 bullet points down from Judy where it says PAB member Linda Berry Mary, and then the clarifications, I would assume she would want it added there. That's how I read
see.
it.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, Jen. I think that makes sense to me now. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We have a motion and a second, and we've discussed. So all of those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected, please raise your right hand. Okay. All of those opposed, raise your left hand. Okay, the motion is carried and we have minutes accepted from the January Park Advisory Board meeting. Okay. I'm following along finally. Thank you. Public comment time. Is there anybody in the room that would like to comment? Please don't forget to state your first and last name.
Hello, good evening. My name is Casey Patton. I'm with the Kitsap Aircraft Radio Control Society. I've been absent for a couple of months because of knee replacement surgery. Our youth Young Eagle program is progressing very well. We have 7 kids that are building the airplane. They're in the final stages of completing the airplane, and we hope to be able to try to maiden that airplane on around the 1st of March. And if we are able to maiden the airplane, I'll try to bring the airplane to show everybody here what the airplane looks like in the March meeting. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Casey.
I'm Catherine Ander. I'm the park lead volunteer with my husband, Dan, for Coulter Creek Heritage Park. And I just came to let you know that we have a shared amenity called the Big Pond Trail that is half in the park and then half part of McCormick Communities properties. If you are to Google trails in Port Orchard, this is one of the biggest features. It's a beautifully groomed trail along a very large pond, and it's accessed from McCormick properties. So just wanted to let you know that we met with McCormick, what we meaning Aaron Bartleson, the volunteer coordinator, myself, and then 2 representatives from McCormick Communities to talk about our shared responsibility and plans for maintaining that trail and keeping it in the great condition it's in. And so we'll be moving on with that. Just to let you know also that there was some concern voiced about the access to the trail is from McCormick Communities, as this is a very popular trail, and as people use it more, we're going to be using their parking. So in the future, we want to make sure that we have access to that trail from park property as well. That's about it. And just as it's been a great collaboration, and just want to give it another example is that how your park volunteers coordinate with community, and it's just it's a great relationship, and it's something I think that will benefit all of Kitsap County.
Thank you, Catherine. And I just want to say, as a Park Advisory Board member, I really appreciate that you folks tend to come in and tell us how you're helping the community and the positive stories. So I appreciate those a lot. Chuck, do we have anybody online that would like to speak? Okay, Mark?
Hi, I'm Mark Shorn, and I would like to say that we just received the "You Are Here" signs for the park, and we'll be installing those over the next few weeks. Those are to replace the existing "You Are Here" signs. That's for the Port Gamble Park.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Beverly?
Hi, I'm Beverly Parsons, and I'm co-chair of the Kitsap Environmental Working Group about the Port Gamble Park. I'm here tonight speaking on my own behalf and coming from my particular background as a researcher and planner. So, as you may recall, last month this group expressed several concerns to you. Tonight, I wanted to comment on two of those concerns. One is that a particular user group, the mountain biking community, is growing in dominance outside of their designated ride park. The other is inadequate attention is being given to the protection of nature and especially critical areas such as wetlands and streams in this park. To understand better what could be done about these issues, the KC group organized a ground truthing walk at the park on February 6th with Commissioner Rolfus and Don Docker representing the PAB. We were reaching out beyond the Parks Department itself to see how the roles of the commissioners and the Parks Advisory Board might support changes in the Park Department management of this particular park. And the walk, I think, was an excellent learning experience for all of us. One of the things that I came to realize in the walk was how activities being done by dedicated park department staff and park stewards, each with their own particular responsibilities, were unwittingly converging to create the situation that is leading to this dominance of certain groups over other users and over protection of nature. So the walk that we had focused on the Ranger Corridor, which is a collection of trails that is outside the ride park, but where the Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance has extended their work. This is in the same area where thinning has been done, heavy equipment is being used, and where a trail goes through a stream rather than over it. There are numerous small but unsanctioned trails and only feeble efforts to decommission such trails. This is compounded by signage that suggests the Ranger Corridor area belongs to EMBA rather than Kitsap County. Given this convergence of seemingly uncoordinated activities, I wanted to reinforce the KEC working group's call for possible closure of the Ranger Corridor. I would ask for all of us to determine how we can collectively support the Parks Department in making this tough decision in the face of a very strong user group of the park. I would also encourage more coherent planning for rebalancing the rights and benefits among all human visitors and the protection and restoration of nature and wildlife habitat for the future. And in closing, I wanted to offer to any PAB members and Park Department staff that KEC members would be very happy to organize another ground truthing walk for you, similar to what we did on February 6th, so you can see how we're viewing this convergence in this area and consider how this complex park needs to be managed. So please let me know if you're interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly. Alex, do we have, or Chuck, do we have anybody else online? Oh, Joe?
Good evening. My name is Joe Lubisher from Indianola. So last month in January, I made a last minute comment about the necessity for complete assessments, physical and ecological assessments before you make planning decisions. And I wanted to elaborate on that. This is information that I presented to the board just over 3 years ago. So Jen and Jessica and Dawn has not heard this. So the example I'm giving is at Port Gamble Park, which definitively stated in the framework that there were 8 wetlands in Port Gamble Park. And I responded by pointing out 2 studies in the county's possession that boosted that number to a couple of dozen at the time. Those they have been mapped and they're not in the park's mappings as of yet. Last week, I came across another report that had another 6 wetlands north and south of the 1900 road. So we're up to 30 map wetlands with most of the park unsurveyed. Okay. Um, the So it's a reasonable question to ask, why is this important? Why should you know why wetlands should be identified in the park? And I'll just give you two quick examples, again, at Port Gamble. Um, a couple of years ago, we noticed that there was a very large wetland. I called it a 7-acre wetland. It's not been delineated, straddling the 1800 road. And the 1800 road completely bisects that wetland. Any reasonable planning effort would say, oh, we've got a big wetland here. We've got a road through it. Maybe we should consider removing that road and reconnecting the two halves of the wetland. That doesn't happen if you haven't completed assessments. Another example, I don't know if you're all familiar, but there is essentially a specialized biking facility called the Ranger Corridor in uh, Port Campbell Park. On the north edge of that wetland, on the north edge of that Ranger Corridor, there is a wetland. And just north of that, there's another mountain bike trail called Mycelium. It would very likely fall within a wetland buffer. It has been observed to have seeps during wet periods. It is viciously eroded. So from a maintenance point of view, there's really no reason that that trail should not be immediately closed and um, the rehabilitation efforts immediately started to block the erosion and uh, rehabilitate that area. And again, that wetland it's not on the parks maps, and nobody has taken it into consideration for critical areas ordinance compliance or for permitting. And in this case, there was a trail located in a very bad location that probably needs to be shut down. So I'm going back to my original point. I would urge you that in the planning process to make sure that we do the full set of physical and ecological assessments. When you do planning, you need to look at easements, you need to look at grant restrictions, and you need to look at wetlands. That's just a few examples. And I would ask the board to pay attention to this and make sure that these assessments get done before you start making decisions about what environmental improvements need to be made, what kind of ecological restorations should be on the table, as well as building more trails or buildings or any other kind of development. And I'll try to put that together in sometime in the next month or two, and I'll submit that to the board again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate those comments from those of you online. They're always helpful to give us a vision of what's happening out in the community. Are there any other comments? Alan?
Yeah, let's see. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Awesome. That's great. Uh, I I'm not sure how to quickly enable video, but I think you can hear me, so I'll go forward. Alan Marshall from Southworth. I attended my first PAB meeting last month. As quick reintroduction, I own a small sheep and tree farm in the Southworth area. And I am active in the Save Banner Forest effort. I would like to start by thanking Aaron Bartleson and Alex Hardy for hosting a very excellent lead stewardship training meeting last week that I participated in. I'm looking forward to participating in that program starting tomorrow morning at my first co-lead effort. Um, and I would also like to thank everybody around the table there for everything that you're doing. I'm relatively new to these PAB meetings. I've got one question and one request. The question that I've got is what kind of public forums or meetings do PAB members, particularly the ones from South Kitsap, where I'm located, do they create to gather input from the public to facilitate their awareness of what we don't want done with our parks? So particularly Jessica, Don, and Larry, I'm curious, do you have any monthly meetings or like meetups or um, places that you regularly go on a regular schedule that enables us to interact with you on a one-on-one basis? And so that's my question. And then my request is, can I be shared either emails and or phone numbers with those South Kitsap members so that we can proactively set up meetings to express our interests to them? Because I could not find, perhaps I didn't look in the right place, but I could not find the PAB contact info up on the Kitsap County website. That's what I've got to share. Thanks for answering the question. I can put my contact info in the chat if I'm enabled to do chat, but it currently looks like I'm unable to contribute to the chat.
Alan, thank you for that comment. I'm going to let Alex let you know how to contact any of the park staff or any of the Park Advisory Board members through written format by submitting it to the parks. So Alex, would you give?
Yeah, Alan, on the web page, I'm not on it here. On the parks web page, in the if you click a link to get to the Parks Advisory Board web page, there is an email there. Right? Why can't I find it here? Here we go. Parks Advisory Board.
That's what I was trying to look for.
Yeah, I'm in the wrong drop down message. There is an email address embedded in there that is dedicated to the Parks Advisory Board. Any email that gets sent there gets shared with the entire board because the board acts as a collective. And their personal information is private and we don't hand that out. So we facilitate communication from the public to the board through this mechanism. If you have other questions, you are always welcome to send those to the Parks Department, and we can schedule meetings, have conversations, or respond to questions in email as well. So where staff's a bit more flexible than Parks Advisory Board. Hope that helps.
And I would like to also add that as Beverly mentioned, I went on a tour with them. I was not representing the Parks Advisory Board. It was just a request, and I went along and I make my own opinions and I do share them with individuals. But also the Park Advisory Board, when we meet to do business, our meetings are open to the public. We do not meet outside of that unless it is for a specific subcommittee meeting, usually with parks. And if we would have one, it would also be announced and open to the public if it were a quorum meeting. Okay, and are there any more? Oh, we have two more. Oh, can they hear you? Okay. Hi.
Hello?
Hello, could you give us
Yes.
your first name and last name, please?
Yes, my name is Lynn Shorn,
Oh, Lynn.
and I am a co-chair of our Forest Fund, and our focus is raising money to purchase the remaining trees in Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park, and a comment about the restoration efforts, the wildlife study that's going on in Port Gamble via parks and wetlands concerns, et cetera, et cetera. The park is a dynamic, changing environment due to the ongoing clear cutting. And so I would encourage people to get on board with donating money through the Great Give to save the remaining 1,008 acres of trees in Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park. And we have, this will be our second year submitting our legislative budget request through Greg Nance and Christine Rolfus in Kitsap County. We're asking for $750,000. With our forest fund, we will be able to bring that up to 1 million, at which time we will be communicating with Rainier and Radiant and seeing how many more trees we can purchase. So just wanted you to know that FYI. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. And we have one more person. Okay. Alan? Oh, Alan Marshall. We usually only have one comment at the beginning and then we open up at the end. Does it matter if we take them now or what's the preference? Okay. Pardon? All right. Let's hear what, who were they again? We'll go ahead. Okay. Mark Shorn, would you give us your comment again, please?
Yeah, thank you, Mark Shorn again. Sorry to take up so much of this time regarding the Port Gamble Forest Park, but I just want to clarify a couple things that were said about the Ranger Corridor. The trail referred to that possibly broaches on a wetland mycelium is not part of the Ranger Corridor. That is not a biking only trail. It's a multi-use trail. My personal opinion on that trail is that it's a horrible trail and it should go away. And then the other comment is on the decommissioning of trails. We have actively tried to decommission trails, and that's part. We need more approval from the Parks Department to allow us to do that. But there's some committed volunteers that are totally willing to continue to decommission road trails that are being built or rebuilt in that area. So we all need to work together to make that park a great park, and I appreciate everybody's help. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
Mark, quick question here. Do you know the bill number for that budget bill that you're trying to get the line item in?
That's for Lynn.
I know. I figured you might know, or
No, I don't.
you
Sorry.
don't.
I'll have Lynn maybe text that onto the chat.
Okay, appreciate that because
Okay.
I do spend a lot of time in Olympia this time of year. So,
Well, thank you. Thanks for all you do.
Okay. Alan? Alan, did you have a comment? Thanks.
Yeah, can you hear me again?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure I understood what was shared early to my earlier question. Thank you for re-enabling me. Let's see. I think there was a comment like that the PAB members don't meet with the public. Like, if that was what was asserted, I don't understand that because obviously the public wants to be able to meet with the PAB members.
I think,
And
Alan, I would.
talk about parks. Is
Yeah.
that
we do not set up formal scheduled meetings with the public. We're private citizens, and we have lives,
right?
we have very active lives. Okay, my calendar looks like it got hit with a paintball gun. I do talk to people while I'm out at Banner, when I go over to South Kitsap, wherever I am, if
Okay.
people start talking, I talk. But as for setting up any scheduled formalized meetings and everything, most of us have got so much stuff going on in our lives, and it's not that we're trying to duck you, okay? Absolutely not. But like I said, my calendar looks like it was hit with a paintball gun at any given week. So yeah, if you
Yeah.
happen to see some geriatric hippie with a big bald spot out at Banner, just hey, yang me up. You know what I look like.
Okay. Am I still unmuted?
Yes, you are still
Okay.
unmuted.
Okay, fine. I'll keep it short. So, because the stewardship program, as we previously understood it, is no longer, if I understood it correctly, a two-way dialogue mechanism, it seems to us that the primary conduit for a dialogue, not just a 3-minute one-way point to be made in these types of meetings, is through from citizens to locally based park advisory board members. So I'm not trying to spam your time. I'm busy too. We're just trying to make sure that we understand what's the right way to have regular input, not input, but dialogue between citizens and the PAB members from the respective areas. I think that that's entirely reasonable to periodically, maybe once a quarter, maybe once a meeting, once a month, to have a vehicle or enable dialogue, I, so that we can get a hold of you and advocate our interests. That it's very, very simple. That's all. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you,
Yeah, and
Alan. And I
yeah,
just encourage comments through the park website and the
yep,
emails. It's much
yep,
more effective having written comments.
yep, absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else online for comments? And we have no one else in the room for comments. Okay, thank you. Tonight we have special presentation, the year in review 2025. Alex Hardy.
All right, good evening. Let me take a moment here and share my screen. All right, is everyone able to see that? All right, well, good evening. So I'm here to talk about our events program and provide a 2025 events year in review. So going back to 2023, that was our first full year where we had a new software system called RecDesk. So now we have just finished our third year. Prior to that, all of our historical event data was lost. So really excited now to have 3 years of event data behind to kind of see how we're doing and where we can grow. So I'll be presenting on that this evening. So as a reminder, our event types are broken up into 5 categories. We have our athletic field rentals, community building rentals, fairgrounds and event center rentals, picnic shelter rentals, and our special park events. So starting with our athletic field rentals, this is a table that shows all of our usage in hours broken out by fields and by year. So the dark blue will be 2023, the light blue is 2024, and then the green is 2025. When you look at this, you'll notice our Anderson Hill 2 field had an increase in 2025. This is because we've seen new requests come in. So we have the YMCA in Silverdale as well as Bremerton utilizing our fields for soccer. And this is something new that they historically hadn't done. So you'll see that increase there. The other interesting area is our Gordon Fields 1 and 2. You'll notice a slight decrease in 2025. They are still our most well-used fields, and most loved fields, but the decrease is due to the increase in synthetic turf fields within the Central Kitsap School District, as well as the Bremerton School District. I think in the past year, there's been 2 or 3 new fields added. So that has allowed user groups to take advantage of fields outside of Gordon 1, which has also allowed us to create more capacity and get groups that maybe wouldn't have the opportunity to get on Gordon 1 to get on a turf field. Looking at our Lobe fields, our baseball fields here at the fairgrounds, you'll notice Lobe Field 1 had an increase in 25. This is again due to added user groups. As we are at capacity at most of our other fields, we have added soccer to the grass portion of our baseball field in the fall. Those fields both have lights, so we can get users out there in the fall until 9 o'clock. So it's helped us create capacity. And then with the South End fields, so our South Kitsap Regional Park fields and Veterans fields, those all have increased as well. I wouldn't say this is because of an increase in use, but it's more because of an increase or better relationships with the user groups in the South End and getting them to report their hours more accurately. This has been really important for myself and my team as the more hours we have reported, obviously the increased billing, which also helps our revenue and our special revenue accounts. It's also super important that we have accurate reporting when we go out and solicit grants so that we have accurate usage. So moving on to our community buildings, we have 3 community buildings. We have our Eagle's Nest, which we're in tonight. You'll notice that is showing a decrease from 24 to and 25. Really, that's a reflection of our internal meetings. We have worked out a few kinks with our RecDesk software system. So in 24, every internal staff meeting that we had up here counted as an event day. So I didn't like that because it's not an accurate reflection. So 25, we were able to clean that up. So that's why the decrease there. For Island Lake, the decrease is associated with the loss of a dance school that was operating out of our Island Lake community building in 23 and 24. So we had a private dance school that did a couple days a week. And so really with the 180 and 25, I'm happy with that as we are, I feel like growing and getting back up even with the loss of the dance school. And then Long Lake is standing strong. It's pretty consistent year after year. For our community buildings, we also track the types of events that we have in the buildings. So our biggest user group or type of events that we have in our community buildings are meetings. So like what we're having here tonight, we do a lot of meetings in the 3 buildings. Our next big one is weddings and bridal showers, as well as baby showers are up there. So a wide variety of use in our community buildings. In 2025, we also initiated surveys. So after our users rent the facility, we send out surveys to those users. So my team sent out 240 surveys in 2025. We received 58 of those surveys back for community buildings. And with that, we got some really good feedback. This makes me really happy. And it's really a reflection of my team and the wonderful customer service they provide to our users. So the overall satisfaction for our community buildings users was 75.86%. The likelihood to return was a really good number, 93.10%, which is amazing. And then our online accessibility, this is our rec desk program and online booking system, and being able to make reservations online was a 68.97%. This was really helpful. There are things we are looking to do in 2026 based off of this feedback. One of them will be a how-to video for online bookings. So we're creating a video that will show people how to go through the online booking system to make it easier to do from home. The other information we collect in the surveys is based on the amenities in the community buildings. So for example, we have microwaves, sinks, refrigerators, ovens, internet here at the Eagle's Nest, a TV here at the Eagle's Nest, a changing room or bridal suite at Island Lake. So this is really helpful information to track. This will help as we make upgrades and improvements to our facilities or potentially down the road add new community buildings. It will help us determine which amenities would make the most sense to put in those buildings. We also asked our users what amenities they would like to see. And the biggest request we get is for internet. Currently, the Eagle's Nest is the only facility that has internet access. The Island Lake Park and Long Lake Park, we are getting closer. We would have to dig some trenches and look at laying some cable and internet wires to the buildings to get the access, but we are getting closer to that. So with the number of meetings, if you remember going back to a couple slides, meetings were 36%. So to me, this makes sense that people are looking for internet in the buildings for those meetings. So I'll move now onto the Fairgrounds and Event Center. If you look at this is showing our event days for our different buildings here at the fairgrounds. If you look at the Pavilion and President's Hall, those are pretty consistent year after year. We are booked almost every weekend in those facilities, and so it's really hard to grow and increase those unless we start looking at smaller events during the week, but we are somewhat limited with staffing. You will notice a big jump with the Van Z building here. That is due to last winter, we had the Fairview Middle School, which is just around the corner from the fairgrounds here, utilizing the Van Z for their wrestling practice as they were redoing their entire gym facility. So we were able to help them out for that stretch. Other areas you'll notice are our barns. So our cat barn and dog barn. Those are mainly used by the WSU extension program, the 4-H. They do in the cat barn, they do, well, it's the cat archery barn, but they do archery practice in there almost every single night of the week. In the dog barn, they've had in the past their 4-H dog group meet in there. So really those numbers fluctuate based off of the number of participants they have in their programs. And those facilities rarely get used for events outside of the fair. So we're just happy to get some use in there and support the 4-H program. The other one that you'll notice maybe a decrease on is the sheep barn. The sheep barn is actually one of our larger facilities here on the grounds and gets used quite a lot for events. It gets used a lot during the week for practices. We've hosted a couple times a week. The roller derby is in there practicing. In the past, we've had like sword fighting groups in there practicing. And we also have disc golf that will use it during the winter for like a putting kind of indoor putting group. So that barn really sees a variety of usage. The drop off is because we did lose our, I think, sword fighting group from 25. So the different types of events at the fairgrounds is really a variety. The biggest one would be our practices. So again, the practices, we associate this with like the roller derby, the 4-H groups. So again, they will come. We have a group here almost every night of the week. So that is the biggest user group we have at the fairgrounds. The next largest one is our expos. So this will be like the events in the President's Hall and Pavilion. So then I'll move on to our picnic shelters. So our picnic shelters, really happy with how they are doing. The one that really stands out and probably grabs your attention is they're at Silverdale Waterfront Park with over 100 reservations last year. This picnic shelter has water connection, it has electrical, and it is our largest picnic shelter in the heart of Silverdale. So definitely very popular. It also supports many events. We have different walks and runs, summer concert series, whaling days. So it gets used quite a lot for events outside of just a picnic shelter rental. We also started doing surveys for our picnic shelter rentals. So my staff sent out 295 surveys in 2025, and we received 93 back. With that, again, we asked about the online booking and accessibility component. And for our picnic shelter rentals, they found 89.25% found it very, very easy to use. And again, we will be working on that how-to video, so hopefully we can make it even easier for the groups. And then for customer satisfaction, it was at 72.04%. With picnic shelters, we do face some challenges just because we don't have the staffing to be able to go out and meet each group at the start of their reservation. So I've had to work with Bree, our maintenance supervisor, to create a system where our staff will go out early in the mornings and hang the day's schedule up so that community members who show up to maybe use the park or shelter during the day will see that we have a group maybe coming in at 2 o'clock that afternoon. But it is difficult, and a lot of times our users will have to politely ask people to leave as they have the reservation. So we'll continue to work on that and try to figure out a better system to make it even easier and hopefully improve those customer satisfaction scores. So lastly, our special park events. So this here you'll see kind of our two highest parks that get reserved for events are the Gordon Park parking lot. So that is the parking lot for our Gordon Fields. We work with Kitsap Transit where they will come in and actually rent our parking lot in the mornings before the park gets busy to do driver training. And usually it's just a section and they'll work on parking or turns with their new drivers. So that is why that number is high. And then the other one you'll notice is we had a drop or a decrease in events at Port Gamble, and that is largely due to the loss of the airfield land that is right next to Port Gamble, our park property. In 2025, it was closed, so a lot of events lacked the parking and space to have their tents and actual event space. So that recently reopened. So we are looking to see if any of our historical events that maybe we lost in 2025 would want to come back and start doing their events again. And then obviously a large increase at Salisbury Point Park. This is because we have a new contract there for Tender Leaves Outdoor Preschool. So we have a preschool that is operating out at Salisbury on a daily basis, September through June now. So it's been really great. They're really easy to work with, very supportive of our parks and our parks maintenance staff. And then for our special park events, looking at the different event types, parking shockingly is our biggest event type for park events. And again, this goes back to the use of our Gordon parking lot by Kitsap Transit. We also will work with the Miracle Ranch property in the south end at Horseshoe Lake. We close that park in the winter, but we do we'll help them with parking for events that they do on their site. So in total, this is a reflection of all of our events combined. You will see that we have increased our event days each year. Going back to 23, we increased in 24 and then had a large increase in 25. I would like to see us get over 4,000 in 2026. And then looking at our event revenue. So on the left, this is our event revenue in our 9508 account. This is 80% of our revenue, as the other 20% from our event revenue goes into our special revenue account, which is 1501. So on the left, you'll have the 80%, and then on the right, you will have our 20%. This special revenue account is really important to us. It's what we use to purchase new equipment that support events. It's what we use to purchase the seed and fertilizer for our annual field ops to support our athletic fields. So it really goes to show the more revenue we can generate from our event program, the more money we can get into our special revenue account that helps support our park operations. And then lastly, here, this is a breakout of our revenue. So the first area is our dark blue. This is the revenue associated with our ball field athletic fees. So you'll see in 25, that was about 20% of our total revenue. The next light blue category is admin fees. So for every park event or picnic shelter rental, there is a $25 admin fee that is added onto the user's invoice. And so that accounts for about 2% of our revenue. The next line is the green. That's equipment and vehicle rentals. It's mainly equipment, and that's associated with the tables and chairs, our pipe and drape rentals, the services that we provide here at the fairgrounds. The yellow, which is our largest category on there, that is our commercial and facility rental revenue account. So this is our fairgrounds, our community buildings. So any of the facilities here at the fairgrounds and then our 3 community buildings fall in this category. The light gray, that's other rentals and use charges. That would be our park events, our picnic shelter rentals. So you'll see that's only about 5% of our total revenue. And then the black category, this is called our other miscellaneous revenues. This is banquet fees. So if we have an event here on the fairgrounds that is serving alcohol, there's a banquet fee associated with that. Events that require fire permits, those fees all go into this other miscellaneous revenue account. So with that, that is my 2025 year in review for events. Are there any questions?
I've got one. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hello? I have a
Yes, we
question.
can hear you. Go ahead, Lisa.
Okay, sorry. So on that last slide, I was curious, Alex, where it talked about use revenue, and I know you raised some of the use charges, so I was just curious why it went from 6% to 7%, then all the way down to 5% this year, or this last year, because it should, in my mind, go up.
Yes, so we did pass policies with the new fees in 2025. However, those are not being implemented until 2026. So you will not see any changes or impacts from the new policies until the end of this year in 2026.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Alex? I just want to say thank you, Alex, because I love to hear about all the different ways that the community uses the parks. And it's great.
Well, thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's move to the Parks Report, Director's Report with Alex Wisniewski.
Thank you. Good evening. You have the written report. I do have a couple highlighted items I wanted to just say a few words about. The very first one on the first page there is temporary staffing shortages, and shared this with the commissioners this morning and just kind of making it broadly aware. Our admin support services within our offices are operating a touch slow at the moment due to some staff shortages that we're currently experiencing. As you'll notice, Dee Tuttle is no longer with the Parks Department. She took a promotional job and stayed with the county, but is now over in Public Works doing contract management for the Capital Facilities Division. Capital Facilities, as you'll recall, does manage all of our capital projects for the Parks Department. So we still have a lot of interaction with Dee, which is super great. And currently, she's actually still working for us one day a week just to make sure that the wheels don't fall off the roller coaster we're on. In addition, so we are refilling that position. We are near the tail end of the hiring process and hope to have that position refilled within 3 weeks to a month or so. So we've been moving on this one as quickly as possible. Dee's position is kind of one of a kind in our department, so definitely one that we can't go too long without, but it has slowed our abilities to respond to PDRs and process contracts specifically because this person does that for us. Additionally, our budget analyst is currently on a break as well. She just welcomed a new member of her family into this world recently. So she just had a baby. So she's out for 3 months. So, but she will be back just in time for budget development for our department, which Caitlin, I'm really sorry for all that work, but happy that you have this time off. Additionally, also talking about staffing, we are kind of in the middle mark of interviews for the new wildlife ecologist position that we're hiring into the natural resources program. We've been through one round of interviews. There's another one scheduled. So that process continues moving forward, and we are super excited to welcome that new person into the Parks Department. Additionally, moving down into the planning items here, we currently have an RFP posted for a park impact fee study. We are looking to contract with a firm to come in and do an analysis of our park impact fees. I may have mentioned this once, probably 6 months ago or so. The last time the Kitsap County Parks did a park impact fee study was in 2003. And at that time, the recommended fee, it was approved and adopted by ordinance by the county commissioners at that time at 25% the rate of what was recommended by the study. So it is not only outdated in terms of being 23 years old, it is also undervaluing the need of the Parks Department financially. So we are looking to invest in a new park impact fee study and have it shared with the commissioners for potential change in the current rate that we're receiving. A couple other community engagement meetings that happened within the past couple weeks. Carmen and I visited the Kingston Parks, Trails, and Open Space Subcommittee. They're a subcommittee to the Kingston Community Advisory Committee. And we went to their meeting to discuss and ask questions with them about a process we've put in place for engaging with the Kingston community to find out about desired improvements they want to see at Cola Cole Park. And it was just kind of a kickoff. We still have a lot of more work to do there, but it was a really good engagement opportunity. We are, unbeknownst to us, our one item ended up taking the entire hour-and-a-half meeting, which was not expected, but the conversation was certainly welcome. And then last night, we had a public meeting with Commissioner Walters at the Rolling Hills Golf Course. At that meeting, we shared with the golfing community who utilized the course, as well as a lot of other visitors who came to listen, about an upcoming request for proposal process that we are going through or we're going to begin. We haven't begun it yet, but we're going to begin for golf course operations. We have two primary goals as dictated by Commissioner Walters and the Commission board. That is to keep the golf course a golf course and to continue to make it affordable golf course. So targeting a specific niche for the Kitsap County community. And the process will last about a year and a half. It'll take us into 2027. And I will have on the March Parks Advisory Board to bring more details on that process. We have a timeline sketched out. We'll be contracting with the National Golf Foundation to assist in the process. And but we had a public engagement meeting just yesterday, so wanted to make mention of that. The meeting was, we probably had at least 100 people there. It was standing room only in the Putters Restaurant at Rolling Hills Golf Course. And it was, I would say reception was mixed. There was some positive excitement. There was some, concern for change, and all very warranted, as there haven't been any change in management at Rolling Hills in 47 years, I think that they announced last night. So it's been a long time coming, and we're at the tail end of the current operating lease. And that's what I had to share. I'm happy to talk about any other items in the written report, if the board would like.
Thank you, Alex. Are there any questions for Alex regarding the director's report? No. Okay. Thank you. Next on our agenda is subcommittee meetings. We did not have any subcommittee meetings. So let's move to district representative reports. Would anybody like to share? Lisa?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that one of the park stewards, Marion, and I had a walk and talk today with Aaron Bartleston and Jason, the trails guy, and we walked around some of the trails at Port Gamble Springs in particular. We brought up and discussing fixes there so bikes aren't and people and horses aren't going through the spring, and trying to think about funding or something to get a bridge built, and some volunteer work for that, and also decommissioning trails we were talking about, and also getting Ewok walking trail open again. So there's movement. I mean, we have some movement going, so that's a positive thing. So it was great to walk and meet these guys and actually hear what they had to say. So that was a positive thing.
Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else? Linda?
Dawn, wow, I'm sorry, I'm getting a massive echo. I was wondering the background of the KEC meeting and you and Christine Rolfus, and was wondering if park staff and Alex were invited, or why the park stewardship leadership wasn't invited, or what's the context of that?
I can just tell you that I was invited. They told me it was because I was a Parks Advisory Board chair. I did remind them that if I came, I was not representing the board, that anything I said could not represent parks or anything. I agreed to look at comments, and I have some written comments that I will probably put together and give to parks and distribute to those on the walk. I'm not really sure what the history, Lisa probably knows more of that. They had concerns about the Ranger corridor, the Springs Trail, and they just wanted to make sure that we had seen it as a, in person, so that we understood what was being presented during the comment section. I personally know some of these people, so I think that's also the reason I was invited. It did not go through parks at all. I just agreed to do it on my own, and I tried to make that clear that it was, and my husband was going. I happened to, he is involved with KEC, so that was the
And
other.
just a little bit more, it was just a ground truthing with KEC. They were interested in, anybody can do that, call the commissioners and set up a meet. And that's what I think it was. It was KEC wanting to talk to the commissioners about a public park and about the imbalance that they were concerned about, the imbalance of the park and about the wetland abuse and how to correct it, and just, so that's what it was. And they were thinking about inviting more, and that's what they're going to do maybe in the future, if there's interest, invite more people to these walks. But that was just the first of maybe many. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think Larry pointed out that we're usually happy to talk to people when we see them out in the community and things like that, but we do represent ourselves until we're on the board discussing things together. Any other district representative reports?
I have one that I wanted to share. Last week, I was at the South Kitsap Regional Park with some other families, and we were at the playground side. And I noticed that they put up new barriers between the parking lot and the grassy area. And I was talking with a couple of the families there and told them that, I was on the park advisory board, and they were really happy that they put up the barriers there, because there was, I don't know how long ago, but somebody was they had damaged the grass because they were driving on the grass. And of course, it's this big grassy area that everybody uses for a lot of different types of sports and, kids running around and things like that. And so it was just really nice feedback from that, from the community of you don't see South Kitsap Regional Park get a lot of love. So it was nice to see some improvements there. And so I just wanted to make sure to share that with you guys.
Thank you, Jessica. Any other comments from our district representatives?
About the only thing I can give you is a report from Olympia, and you probably don't want that.
All right. Well, that is the last thing except public comments. Do we have any public comments from the room? No. How about online, Chuck? Okay, thank you. And I do have to say, although I miss Dee, Chuck, you did a wonderful job tonight. I feel like we're in great hands, so thank you. Do I have any motions at this?
I so move that we adjourn.
Is there a second? Linda?
I'll second that.
All right, thank
That-
you.
that-
We had a motion and a second to adjourn. We don't have to vote on that one, do we? Oh, darn. Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of adjourning, raise your right hand. This is a test. All right, unanimous. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Good job.